You could probably get a wide range of responses from people all around the country if you asked almost anyone what the quickest car on the road was in the early 1970s. It's possible that someone in New England heard rumors of a legendary local Corvette that had one of the nastiest big blocks around, while someone in Santa Monica knew someone who had hopped up Boss 429s that smashed everything it raced. There was an air of speed, and high-performance vehicles were plentiful. However, there was one dealer-built turnkey performance car that you could just grab off the lot and it would instantly make you a street racing celebrity. Potential 9-second ETs are being discussed, and none of that power came from a Comet driven by a 427 sock or anything like that. No, this vehicle was utterly ridiculous. The Super Vega with motion 454 horsepower. Here's a brief introduction to Baldwin Motion for those of you who are not familiar with their incredible selection of dealer-built speed machines. Jointly owned by Baldwin Chevrolet, a Chevrolet dealership in Baldwin, New York, and Motion Performance, a performance shop also conveniently located in Baldwin, New York, formed Baldwin Motion. Basically, Baldwin Chevrolet would assist in supplying Motion with new Chevrolet vehicles, and Motion would concentrate on producing them as quickly as possible. We are discussing complete engine swaps and beyond. Thanks to its affiliation with the Baldwin Chevrolet dealership, Motion was able to reach a larger and more affluent clientele, and in certain situations, even secure financial approval for their new vehicles. Motion produced a wide range of trick cars during that time, such as custom Corvettes, Chevelles, and Camaros in the 1970s. Again, though, that's not what we're discussing today. We are discussing Motion's major block Vega, their real last gasp. Actually, the original generation pre-facelift Vega that Chevrolet produced between 1970 and 73 wasn't so ugly. It actually resembles a tiny 1970 Camaro, although one that is a little more pedestrianized. The Vega was a mass-market budget vehicle. It had several different inline four-cylinder engine options, but because of the four-cylinder power plant under the hood, none of them were especially quick. The Vega's saving grace, however, was that it was a rear-wheel drive, a front-engine vehicle that weighed 2,200 pounds, making the unfinished chassis the ideal foundation for rapid acceleration. People recognized that you could put a different engine in it, and a number of different ardent drag racers would disassemble these tiny Vegas, put V8s under the hood, and turn some very spectacular quarter-mile numbers with them. Thus, 10 seconds is what we're talking about, possibly even 9 seconds with a crazy enough setup. Additionally, these lightning-fast Vegas would continue to be insured as tiny cars, which meant that insurance would be much less expensive than for any other muscle car of that era. Some firms have started offering V8 switch kits for your own Vega, allowing you to upgrade it to a low-cost V8 bully in your garden. Heck, even Chevrolet created a small block V8-powered Vega prototype using an all-aluminum small block that they stole from their parts warehouse. An aluminum V8 was supposed to save a significant amount of weight and have far less impact on handling than a standard V8 with an iron block, which would actually excessively overweigh and cause the Vega to understeer like a complete pig. The Vega 302 cubic inch engine, when combined with a stock turbo 350 transmission and all-stock Vega rear end, allowed for a high 13-second time. This takes us back to the Motion Vega. You might picture how quick a 300-plus horsepower V8 Vega could have been with a 4-speed and finely tuned diff. Motion quickly took advantage of the popularity of the V8 Vega and offered their own turnkey V8 swapped Vegas in several degrees of crazy. Although they did not provide them, these weren't delivered as the monstrous machines they were, fully assembled and operational. Even the most basic of small block constructions of the turnkey Motion V8 swapped Vegas started at an MSRP of $4,000, making it more expensive than a brand new Z28 Camaro, which at the time had an MSRP of about $3,500. The sky really was the limit when it came to what Motion could do when optioning out a V8 Vega, though, because they were not a big corporation that had to follow a really rigorous standards that everyone else did. Vintage books, advertisements in magazines, and so forth What I managed to put together though is as follows. For $4,000, you could purchase a base V8 switched Vega that would likely have a respectable 350 or something similar. Although nothing to write home about, they were nevertheless quite fast. If your wallet could accommodate an additional $5,000, you could opt for a Motion Phase 3 V8 Vega. This variant would naturally include the Phase 3 350, a 370 horsepower LT1 small block Chevy, at the time one of the most powerful engines available, as standard equipment. In order to improve their hookup from a dig, you could also equip the Motion Vegas with a variety of other performance upgrades, such as a 12-volt PY rear, a 4-speed M22 Rock Crusher transmission, and different suspension changes. It gets more stranger than that though. Now, this 370 horsepower 350 was standard on Phase 3, but there were larger and more powerful choices. Consumers might even win more money. I'm not sure how it would be exactly, but at the time, picture maybe $6,000 or $7,000. And they could outfit their automobile with a 427 or 454 cubic inch big block Chevy, which is insane for that money. Now, it took a lot of work to shoehorn a big block into a Vega. The bell housing area needed to be shortened a little, and the big block cars required special mounts and additional exhaust work that had to dump out the side. And they were only a handful of the modifications required for Motion Vega's big block setup. All that torque and all that horsepower from those 400 to 450 horsepower plus motors made these Vegas crazily quick in a straight line. Granted, the large block added a lot of weight up front, which made these cars handle very poorly, but anyone who purchased one understood that it was only intended for straight line speed, and in traditional infomercial style. But hold on, there's more. Yeah, according to a small vintage magazine article I read on this topic, you could also have a Vega with a 350 block turbocharged or supercharged if you wanted something a little different than, say, a big block 427 Vega. With so many outrageous engine combinations to choose from, it's obvious that you could customize your Motion Vega to your exact specifications. Just to make sure it would handle well, I personally would have probably chosen the LT1 350 powered vehicle. However, please share your thoughts in the comment section below. Additionally, the Motion Vegas offered the renowned motion stripes on the side, which are now seen on almost all of their other vehicles. For example, on the Motion Vegas, additional cosmetic upgrades included bigger curb wheels, side pipes, a rear deck lid spoiler, and even an L88 style hood. Oh, and don't worry if a standard Vega wasn't big enough for you. On a wagon version of the Vega, you might experience motion to the fullest. Imagine getting completely ignored by a Vega wagon while driving your Hemi Charger around on the streets. Many individuals have to be offended by the handful of these cars that were produced in the past. Furthermore, there were claims that these top dog Motion Vegas could have been costing between $6,000 and $7,000 when new. That was a lot of money to spend on a car that was almost worthless for anything other than racing and had a massively poorly built engine. It's unknown how many of these Motion Vegas were actually produced. As per a Motor Trend article that has a link in the description, there are rumors that roughly 4 454 powered cars were produced prior to the EPA telling Joel Rosen, the man behind Motion, that his actions were against their regulations and effectively shutting him down. Now, Joel used to charge a big penny for identification services that helped individuals determine whether their automobiles were motor vehicles. He tragically died in 2003 though, so it's possible that we'll never be able to determine the precise number of Motion Vegas that were constructed. However, a few complete vehicles were undoubtedly constructed. Some were reportedly even exported, and a lot of these Vegas were probably wrecked or damaged at some point because they were really designed to be raced and raced aggressively. Therefore, it's likely that there are a few rusted Vegas out there, that there are some of these insane motion cars that we're simply unaware of. In any case, the Motion Vegas and the AMC Gremlin 401XR are among the dealer-built speed machines' holy grails. And that's it for today. And now, we invite you to share your thoughts in the comments. Do subscribe to the channel if you like our content. Also, press the bell icon so you can get notified whenever we upload a new video. We'll catch you in the next one.